Right, so we are now on round 6 of the 2024 PACE NSC. This is the first playoff round. This round we have 2 teams from Livingston in here. Livingston B on my left and Livingston A on my right. Why don't we do a quick buzz check and you can go and say your name.
Ben. Harish.
Ethan.
Arav.
Sophia.
Robert.
Kevin. Dylan. Oh yeah, no, agree.
There's also a sponsor this round. Why don't we go read that now? So this round is sponsored by Canyon Crest, who have the following message: "I know what you did."
Clearly, we don't know what PACE.
What is
Canyon?
It's a school.
They know what I did
Here.
too, so who's the real knowledge here?
Yeah.
How much do you pay to
You
sponsor
when the
that?
packer tells me my own social security number.
The regular
Thank you.
sponsorships are $100 per packet, and the final sponsorship are $500.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Well, I respect Cannon Crest.
Is there no
for doing that.
additional
I mean, Peter Smith was quite based too.
Yeah.
round
Yeah.
one?
But not currently.
Based mission.
Maybe.
Livingston.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Livingston A on my right. Oh.
Yeah, they're from Livingston, Texas.
He did. He texted me.
Oh, he's actually on.
Yeah, they're from Livingston, Texas. We're from Livingston, Louisiana.
It's actually true.
Unfortunately, your name tags tell me which team you're.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
The name tags are fake news.
we're the Guatemala.
This is very true.
Oh god, there's some.
Nicaragua.
No, Livingston, Guatemala.
Nicaragua de Janeiro.
They should have taken out your HSC teaching and passed the laptop.
No.
I'm going arrested.
I have it right here. I have her.
No,
I'm sure you do.
Wait, are we actually in the playoff group Damascus? I bet.
What the hell?
You just now noticed.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
I was making a Damascus joke earlier.
Okay, well, I don't really care.
And Robert.
Yes. You can no trolling on live stream.
Everybody good? Let us.
Let's go.
We will get started with toss up 1. Alright, zoom in because I'm old. C. Lugdalii converts syngas into this compound and acetate. Renewable polyethylene is made by harvesting this compound from bagasse, then dehydrating and polymerizing it. Etymologically, the word enzyme derives from proteins like zymase that make this chemical anaerobically by decarboxylating pyruvate, then reducing acetaldehyde. A 10% solution of this liquid is used today instead of tetraethyl lead to prevent knocking. This industrial chemical...
Ethanol?
That's 10.
Yes.
Nice.
Thanks, H.
I wonder what that is.
After this round. Okay. This author was dubbed the conscience of the nation as part of Germany's rebel literature movement. For 10 points each, name this author. Robert Fame will destroy St. Anthony's Abbey to punish those who collaborated with the host of the beast in this author's 1959 novel, Billiards at 9:30.
Oh, God, who wrote that? No, not
Grass.
Hess. Not Grass.
Answer? That's Heinrich Bull. This author's Nobel Prize citation praises his 1959 book, The Tin Drum, for reviving German literature from linguistic and moral destruction.
Wait, is it the
Tin Drum.
author of the Tin Drum? Grass, right?
Yes. This author of Vertigo said he hated the German post-war novel like pestilence. This author included photographs in a novel in which Jacques researches his mother's internment in a concentration camp, Austerlitz.
Nope. Nope.
That's W.G. Sebald.
Sorry, Ara.
10 on the bonus, toss up 2. These people routinely lost claims to land due to the 10-owner rule. In 1977, OMAC activists from this group allied with the Trades Council to stop the construction of a housing estate on Bastion Point Reserve. The 2022 biopic FINA celebrated an activist of these people who staged a 1975 land march to assert treaty rights. The Boyd Massacre decreased contact between this group.
The Maori?
That is 20.
Nice.
Art historians often classify art from Kalakmul as part of a style name for these objects. For 10 points each, name these objects, only 4 of which from one culture survive today. One of these objects in Dresden cannot be rearranged in the proper order because the model has adhered to a glass
Are
display.
these mosaics?
Go ahead.
Like rearranged?
Yeah.
Mosaics, right?
These are codices. Kalakmul was a site of this Mesoamerican culture. Artists from this culture include Lakam Chak, whose name derived from these people's axe-wielding god of rain, Chak.
Oh, chalk is mine.
Mayans. Correct.
One example of the codex style is a vessel from Kalakmul of a maize god in this pose. Henry Moore was inspired by Shakmul figures to create sculptures of people in this title pose, including one outside the UNESCO headquarters.
Kneeling? Let's go kneeling.
They are, hold on, reclining.
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry.
10 points, toss up
No, I'm sorry, I should have
3.
said it.
The author of this series started writing it around the time he wrote An Evening with Margaret Mead, inspired by the possibility of art as explored in his autobiographical work, How I Learned What I Learned. This series' include a harmonica player called both Canewell and Stool Pigeon, and a healer who dies at age 366 called Aunt Esther. Gem of the Ocean and Radio Golf bookend this series, whose 10 entries are each set in a different decade of the 20th century. In an entry in this series, a potential football scholarship sparks a disagreement between Corey and Troy Maxon.
Pittsburgh cycle?
10.
Nice. Bruh.
A 2024 study found Alzheimer's disease can be transmitted via contaminated stocks of this protein extracted from human cadavers, for 10 points each. Name the pituitary hormone that is now made synthetically for patients with short stature.
Short stature. Growth hormone, maybe?
Go with it. Yeah.
Growth hormone, direct.
Yeah. Fears of contagious Alzheimer's echo the early 2000s paranoia surrounding this disease. For 2 decades, the FDA banned blood donations from European travelers, fearing this disease could seed a Creutzfeldt-Jakob epidemic.
Mad cow disease.
Direct.
Yes. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is also spread by surgeons using contaminated scalpels to graft this outer layer of the meninges. This tough tissue surrounds the brain's arachnoid layer.
Is this Durham?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Durham, correct.
Also 4. In a party convention during this election, a candidate described community organizations as spread like stars throughout the nation.
1992.
Incorrect.
Bellman.
It's okay. Go on.
A candidate described community organizations as spread like stars throughout the nation. A candidate in this election dropped out after reusing phrases from a New York Kinnock speech. An ad in this election showing actors walking in and out of a building targeted a candidate who was asked if he would still oppose the death penalty if his wife Kitty was a victim of a violent crime. That candidate in this election was targeted by the Willie Horton ad. This election's winning candidate lost in the next election due in part to his broken promise of read my lips, no new taxes. For 10 points, name this presidential election where Mike Dukakis lost to George H.W. Bush.
1988.
That's right. You were harsh. Okay. Occasionalism is the view that all events are caused by this figure. For 10 points each, name this figure. Al-Ghazali tried using logic to show that this figure, rather than natural laws, is the reason that cotton catches on fire.
Do you think it's just God, or do you think it's the devil?
Answer?
Satan.
It's God.
Oh.
Al-Ghazali's faith-based philosophy was criticized by this other Islamic thinker who supported the Aristotelian theory of causality. This philosopher was known as the commentator and wrote The Incoherence of the Incoherence. Answer?
Averroes.
That's right. 2 answers required. In his initial formation of causality, Aristotle outlined 4 types of causes that beget the different natures of a material. Name any 2 of them.
4 types of causes. Water and fire.
They are material, formal, efficient, and final. 10 points. Toss up 5. In a musical set at one of these places, an evangelist turned nightclub singer performs the number Blow, Gabriel, Blow. Nicely Nicely Johnson invents a dream about being saved from hell in a song title for one of these places in which the people all said, sit down. One of these places is the setting of the Cole Porter musical Anything Goes. Another one of these places, called The Cotton Blossom, titles a pioneering 1927 musical that introduced Paul Robeson's signature song. The actress Julie sings Can't Help Lovin' Dat Man in a musical by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein titled for a show type of these places that features the song Old Man River.
Boat?
Yeah. In a short story by this author, a couple is too busy bickering to notice that their cab driver ran over a human child instead of a goat. For 10 points each, name this author of the collection The Assassination of Margaret Thatcher. This author depicted the rise of Thomas Cromwell in her novel Wolf Hall.
Do you have any? I thought I'm going to go Mental. Sure. Mental.
That's right. The narrator of Mentel's story Destroyed imagines this beautiful word in her mind while looking for a dog. This word titles a story in which a trapped man makes an idiotic laugh after seeing wolves running down a hill. Answer?
This is a cry for help.
Interloper. Mantel praised this author of the short story Widows as a realist with wings. This author also wrote The Handmaid's Tale.
Atwood.
20 points. Toss up 6. This activity titles a 2018 film where a 5-year-old named Yuri with scars on her body is taken in by a poverty-stricken family. That film title for this activity was directed by Hirokazu Koreeda. In 2023, the NRF retracted a claim that this activity was primarily done by organized groups. A book whose title encouraged readers to perform this action describes slug coins in its Survive section and was written by Yippee co-founder Abby Hoffman. People engaging in this activity are the primary source of a metric called shrinkage. In 2023, an executive at Walgreens admitted his company had overemphasized how much this crime was contributing to store closures.
King.
10 points. A phrase used by this group became synonymous with conjunctivitis since an outbreak coincided with a mass emigration of this ethnicity. For 10 points each. Name this ethno-linguistic group. Sheikh Hasina's father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, founded the Awami League to agitate for the creation of an independent nation for this ethnic group.
Bengalis direct.
This Indian prime minister was supported the rebels during the Bangladeshi Liberation War. This daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru was
Indira direct.
The Bengali genocide began with this 1971 operation, in which hundreds of thousands of Bengali intellectuals were killed by Pakistani soldiers.
Operation Searchlight direct.
30 points.
Good
Toss of 7. A state of matter named for this scientist is derived from a strontium Bose-Einstein condensate can contain 170 strontium atoms within one atom. This scientist's polaron involves a namesake type of atom that has an electron with an extremely large principal quantum number. Subscripts of infinity and H distinguish versions of this scientist's namesake constant for heavy atoms and hydrogen, respectively. Evaluating a formula named for this scientist at n sub 1 equals 1, while varying n sub 2 yields the Lyman series.
Ripper.
That's right after power.
Nice.
This designer claimed to spend most of her free time at the age of 6 playing with dolls in a graveyard. For 10 points each. Name this designer who said that Christian Dior dressed women like armchairs. This French designer popularized masculine women's clothing like tweed suits, often in black and white.
Okay, so Sophia's going to kill me if I get this wrong, because why would she get this wrong?
Answer?
Chanel.
That's right. With Ernest Beau, Chanel produced a type of this substance called number 5. These substances have head, heart, and bass notes.
Perfume?
Yes. A young Chanel did not understand what a tiara was when her lover gave her one produced by this jewelry brand. Aldo Sapullo designed the difficult-to-remove love bracelet for this band.
And,
Answer?
Hermes.
It's Cartier.
Oh, Cartier.
20 on the bonus. Awesome. 8.
okay.
This emotion appears second in the name of sculptures studied by Julian Pitt Rivers.
Love.
That is incorrect. That display challenge riposte dialectics. 4 maladaptive responses to this emotion are grouped in Nathanson's compass of this moral emotion, which June Tangby argues arises from evaluations of the global self rather than one's behavior. The word haji is analyzed in a 1946 study that argues that a culture defined by this emotion acts to avoid ostracism instead of internal moral struggles. This emotion is emphasized in Japan as compared to American guilt culture, according to Ruth Benedict's The Chrysanthemum and the Sword. Revenge and honor killings are believed to prevent, for 10 points, what self-conscious feeling of regret and disgrace?
Shame.
That's right. The Urdhva Pundra is one of these markings that resemble Vishnu's foot. For 10 points each, name these Hindu markings created from a blend of sandalwood paste and dyes. A sacred ash known as vibhuti is used to create these markings in the form of 3 lines, creating a Tripundra.
Oh man. Bindi direct.
No, it's a tilaka. Tilaka are placed over the why are these? Okay, whatever. Tilaka are placed over the Agnya instance of these things, which represents the third eye. These things, which derive from the Sanskrit word for wheel, are located at the spinal junctions of the nadis.
Chakras.
Worshippers of Devi and Shiva place a red dot in the middle of the tilak as it is drawn on this area of the body. Another red dot known as the bindi is placed on this area by married women.
The forehead.
Yeah,
5 head.
20 points. And that should answer why your first answer was wrong. Toss up 9. This figure names a case system where Snorri Sturluson's son was castrated and blinded.
Heimdall.
That is incorrect. As related by the Sturlunga saga, this figure will move from the south with the scourge of branches to arrive first at the field of Vigridor. This figure will slay Beli's bane because the latter had given his sword to Skirnir. This wielder of a bright sword will lead a giant army over the Bifrost, which will crumble in their wake. Leif and Leithrasir, the last of humanity, will hide in Hodmimi's Holt to escape the devastation wrought by this layer of Freyr at Ragnarok's conclusion. For 10 points, name this guardian of Muspelheim, a giant destined to burn the earth with flame.
Surtur.
Clearchus of Soli hinted that this woman inspired Diotima, an accomplished sophist who appears in Plato's Symposium. For 10 points each, name this courtesan and lover of Pericles who hosted symposiums and dispensed relationship advice from her Athens home.
Oh man.
Heracles.
Like
Answer?
Agarist.
It's Aspasia. Aspasia hailed from this city which led the Ionian revolt. Anaximander studied a philosopher who made his fortune by using astronomy to predict profitable olive harvests. What?
Yeah, it was common.
That's a weird. Yeah, okay. Anaximander studied a philosopher who made his. Okay, I guess where Anaximander studied a philosopher. I guess I'm so confused. Name Thales, who made his fortune by using astronomy to predict profitable olive harvests.
Miletus?
Go with it.
Miletus?
Yes.
Nice.
Aspasia's sister married Alcibiades' grandfather after he had undergone this procedure, in which votes cast via broken pottery shards expelled an Athenian citizen. It names a form of social banishment.
Ostracism direct.
30 points. Yeah, that is an unparsable
Yes, sir. You got
clause.
I can't beat it.
You got get it.
I can't beat it.
You got so get
I
it.
got
Sorry about that. Toss of 10.
You got get it.
This poet contrasted Grishkin, who distills a feline smell, with John Webster, who saw the skull beneath the skin. This poet wrote that a new work of art modifies existing monuments in an essay advocating for authors to learn literary history. A reference to Shakespeare in the line, "The chair she sat in, like a burnished throne," appears in one of this author's footnotes. That poem by this author quotes Baudelaire in his depiction of an unreal city under the brown fog of a winter dawn. This poet repeated the Sanskrit word Shanti.
Elliot.
good bus.
Locked in for that.
That was rough.
Oh yeah, no.
These objects can be roughly, though circularly, defined as anything that transforms like these objects. For 10 points each, name these mathematical objects exemplified in physics by metric and stress energy ones.
Tensors. Tensor stress.
A distinguishing feature of tensors is that they are multiplied by the Jacobian under this type of operation. Galileo names instances of this type of operation that do not preserve delta S squared.
Contraction.
Wait, operation?
Answer?
Contraction.
No, these are coordinate transformations. The metric tensor is related to the stress energy tensor by equations fundamental to this theory. Einstein developed this theory to explain gravitation, extending an earlier theory that uses Lorentz transformations.
General relativity.
20 points.
Alright.
That's the half. I have a score of Livingston B 110, Livingston A 200. Is my reading okay for everyone?
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. 2011. A 2023 New York Times feature revealed that Senator Mike Lee was on a mailing list of this man's extended family of former employees. Joel Anderson traveled to Pinpoint, Georgia to interview this man's mother, Leola, for slow burn. Adam Liptak claimed that a question about 1-800 plumbing was exemplary of how remote COVID-19 policies broke this man's decade-long silence. This man's wife co-founded Groundswell and received $80,000 from Leonard Leo of the Federalist Society. Revelations from ProPublica that this RV...
Oh no. Just like Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, just like that.
Nice.
The spirit Anoa warns of predators and destroyers who bring slavery for 2,000 of these time periods in an Ai Kwe Amar novel. For 10 points each, name these time periods. The story of Mustafa Saeed torments the unnamed narrator of a Tayyib Salih novel titled for one of these time periods of migration to the north.
Season, right? Season,
Go
right?
ahead.
Anti-colonial themes appear in this 2016 novel by Yag Yassi about how Essie and her descendants grow up in America away from her half-sister Effie's family in Ghana due to slavery.
If it's, I don't know anything smart.
Nope.
White teeth, right?
White teeth.
Homecoming? Pre-colonial Umuofia is described as the terror of their neighbors before the white men came and no longer at ease. The sequel to this author's novel, Things Fall Apart.
Chebe,
Yeah.
right?
20 points. Toss up 12. Something wet in here.
Oh yeah, I spilled my water.
Okay.
One second.
No, you're fine. I just didn't know if I was like imagining it. Okay. Thomas Fearnley and Charles Cope were among those who painted this short artist standing on beaches in varnishing days, on which he completed paintings just before they were exhibited. The first volume of John Ruskin's Modern Painters championed this artist over the old masters. This artist donated 2 paintings on the condition that they be hung beside works by Claude Roman.
Oh, God. Turner.
That's 20 points.
Wait, what? You got it. I like that Paul. Look at my pen.
5 seconds, a lot of time. Your bonus. Micropads are microfluidic devices made out of this material for 10 points each. Name this cheap material derived from pulp cellulose.
Paper.
In point-of-care mass spectrometry, liquids wick through a paper micropad, then are released by a spray that performs this process on the analyte. This process also converts gases to plasmas.
Wait, ionized, right?
Sure.
Like ionized?
Yeah. Paper is used to concentrate the analyte in wearable biosensors that rely on the surface-enhanced form of this analytical assay. This technique measures the weak vibrational transition that resonate with the energy difference between incident and emitted scattered light.
Raman spectroscopy.
Go with it.
Defer.
Spectroscopy.
Prompt.
Raman.
I guess I could prompt on that because it's... Okay, sure. Yeah, you get 30 points.
Yay. Good job.
Trials of protest.
A play by this author ends with a voice calling he is the god of love as a man dies in an avalanche. Another play by this author ends with the button Mulder stating, "We meet at the final crossroads" as the protagonist is cradled by Solvay. Another play about this author ends with the man being called the one cock in the basket and proclaiming, people don't do such things. One play by this author of Brand ends with the man asking, the most wonderful thing of all?
Ibsen.
Yes.
I read this yesterday.
Branscombe and Vaughan found that this concept was reduced in American students when they were shown clips of Rocky IV, edited so that Ivan Drago won the match. For 10 points each, name this concept measured by the Rosenberg scale. This concept, which some propose acts as a sociometer, is negatively affected by upward comparison.
It might, yeah, empathy. Empathy?
Be self-confident.
It is self-esteem.
Oh.
People who believe they have this quality tend to have higher self-esteem. In most cultures, facial symmetry is linked with this quality.
Be attractive.
Yeah.
Looks maxing.
Looks maxing. Being attractive to
Attractiveness
Rex.
direct.
Okay.
Could you have taken looks maxing?
I will say that is a reasonable synonym, so I would take it that, yes.
We could have directed looks
Oh
maxing.
my
I mean, you
God.
did direct looks back and I took it, so.
Worst.
Terror management theory hold that anxiety about this concept compels people to adopt worldviews that protect their self-esteem. A Freudian drive named for this concept leads people towards self-destructive acts.
Death.
This what?
Death drive. Death drive.
Yes, 20 points.
That thing you like.
Oh my God.
Death or the death drive?
Yes.
Toss-up 14. The structure of these diagrams is inferred by the Mr. Bayes and Mega software packages. Coalescent theory interprets these diagrams backwards in time to figure out when a random variable diverged. These diagrams are constructed from binary character tables by assigning sin apomorphies to an in-group in systematics. Linus Pauling proposed calibrating these diagrams by aligning genes like cytochrome C, which are so essential that their sequences mutate like clockwork. On these diagrams, the principle of parsimony dictates that members of a clade which have a homologous structure also probably share a common...
Karyotypes?
No.
Amen.
Also probably shared a common ancestor. For 10 points, name these diagrams that illustrate evolutionary history using branches and roots.
Evolutionary trees.
I can take that, yes.
Autograph.
Phylogenetic is the word I'm looking for. They are not... that shouldn't be correct, whatever. I'll argue with someone else for that. Not you guys. You guys are fine. Answer the following about the Yale series of younger poets, which publishes a debut collection each year for 10 points each. The series is considered to have peaked while this author of September 1st, 1939 and Funeral Blues served as judge.
Autumn.
The 1950 prize was awarded by Auden to this poet for her collection A Change of World. The final stanza of a poem by this author describes carrying a book of myths in which our names do not appear.
Sophia Wu.
That's Adrienne Rich. Auden also awarded the prize to an author with this surname who wrote a poem titled For Lying in a Hammock at a Farm. In a novel by an author with this surname, the protagonist kills a rat with a skillet and later accidentally suffocates a communist girl.
Sophia Wu.
That is right. W-R-I-G-H-T, not correct.
I think that's right.
Right? I thought
Yes.
it was Native Son.
Yes.
Oh
that's
my
correct.
god.
Yes.
She's communist? Okay.
Yeah, Mary is.
I don't know.
That's devious.
I've
10?
never read it.
Yeah, that was Final Modus and also 15. Mary something, I forget her last name.
Yes, I don't.
Numerous royal rituals were recorded in this language in the Uigwe. A woodblock version of the Tripitaka in this language was printed during invasions by the Khitans. The Gabo reform, which regulated official documents written in this language, was passed by a king whose death sparked the March 1st movement. A system
Korean?
that is 20 points.
20?
Yep.
Nice.
Answer the following about education in antebellum America for 10 points each. This law required that each newly created township have land specifically allocated for schools. Its other provisions included outlining the process for which territories became states.
This is 60 Northwest.
Yeah, the Northwest Ordinance.
Direct.
A kindergarten advocate from this family wrote the advice manual, The American Woman's Home. Another member of this family wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Oh.
Oh, Stowe.
Wait, Beecher, right?
Oh.
Or Stowe. Beecher.
Answer?
Beecher.
Yes. I can't find one Stowe. Horace Mann was inspired by an approach to science education named for this family. A member of this family who wrote Cosmos described guano and the properties of cinchona bark from his travels.
Ah, shit.
Gulliver.
Darwin.
Darwin?
Darwin?
It's Humboldt. Alexander Humboldt. Toss up 16, 20 on the bonus. In the Serer faith, Saltigwe step into a circle to publicly engage in this activity in the Hoi ceremony. Opele chains can be used to perform this activity quick.
Divination.
20 points.
Yeah, this is
This adjective titles a symphony for soprano and baritone soloists inspired by Rabindranath Tagore's The Gardener. For 10 points each, gives this adjective the titles Alexander von Zemlinsky's most famous work. Alban Berg quoted that work in a 6-movement suite for string quartet title for this adjective.
Albon, like Alex Albon.
Alex
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Williams Racing
Answer?
directed.
Grunt direct.
Lyric. was Alban Berg was the person I said.
Oh, that makes
Berg used this compositional technique in the lyric suite. Zemlinsky's student Arnold Schoenberg developed this serialist atonal technique that uses all notes of the chromatic scale.
12th tone.
This composer included Wedding Day at Troldhauken in his collection of lyric pieces. He also wrote In the Hall of the Mountain King for the play Peer Gynt.
Greek.
20 points.
Morning.
He's also something wild on some of these clues. Concept 17. Dynamical friction becomes inefficient at values on the order of this unit, well before the inspiral stage in this unit's final problem. When d is expressed in this unit, log base 10 of d equals 1 plus 1/5 times a modulus equal to little m minus big M. This unit is typically used to report the reciprocal of a small angle denoted p or pi. Kilometers per second per million of this unit is the typical compound unit for Hubble's constant. This unit, which is roughly equal to 3 light years.
Parsec.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that.
You were thinking. You
Oh my god, shut
Within
up.
months of landing, members of this group had managed to consume all their nearby cabbage palms within a dozen miles. For 10 points each, name this alliteratively named group of convicts and colonists that arrived in Botany Bay in 1788.
What are the people who went to Australia to get their prisoners called?
Answer?
British prisoners.
It's the First Fleet. The First Fleet abandoned Botany Bay for this city, which they named after a Home Secretary. A food crisis was alleviated by the Third Fleet's arrival in this capital of New South Wales.
Sydney.
150 years before the First Fleet, a ship of this name wrecked off Western Australia. This is also the name of the capital of the Dutch East Indies and a republic established in the Netherlands in 1795. Answer?
Michelle Obama.
That is Batavia. But close. 10 on the bonus, toss up 18. A passage by this author describes how a writer who draws the world finds that he has drawn his own face by the end of his life. A review by this real-life author lauds the choice to purposely give the incorrect solution to a murder mystery by Herbert Quain. This author attacked the heretical viewpoints of Niels Runeberg, including a hypothesis that God was Judas. This author described an attempt to recreate Don Quixote line by line by his friend Pierre Menard. This author described an incomplete...
Borges?
Yes.
That's all it's for.
In the 1990s, the popularity of a fried spider dish made from tarantulas called aping took off in this country. For 10 points each, name this country whose currency, the riel, is legendarily named for a type of fish. This Asian country shares the Dongrek Mountains with its western neighbor.
Wait, Rio? Brazil? I don't know.
Asian country.
Asian? Okay.
Answer?
Cambodia.
Yeah, sure.
You almost said Colombia?
Shut
This
up.
largest freshwater body in Cambodia is the source of the Tray Riel fish that is often used to make prahok. In the dry season, this body of water is drained southeastward to the Mekong River.
The Tunnel Saptaret.
Somewhere between June and November, the Tunnel Sap reverses direction as a result of heavy rains brought by this seasonal weather pattern. South Asia gets heavy rains during the bursts of these events.
Monsoons. Monsoons.
Correct.
That's crazy.
Monsoons,
Yes,
right?
That's 30 points. I think that's when places.
Imagine you said Canada by accident.
30 points, toss up 19. Soldiers argued that this person was cryptically mentioned in a set of erotic correspondences written to the Italian attaché Alessandro Panizzardi. While being arrested, Charles Maurras supposedly shouted that this person got revenge. Maurras founded Action Française during an event involving this person. The newspaper La Libre Parole frequently attacked this person.
Robespierre.
Mine is incorrect. Penalty.
Force of habit.
19 times out of 20 in a given year is that, so.
Yeah, that's true.
The newspaper La Libre Parole frequently attacked this person based on documents that included a bordereau discovered in a wastebasket. Georges Picard investigated action supposedly...
Alfred Dreyfus. Okay.
Oh. If you had buzzed where he buzzed, you would have gotten 20, but you only get 10.
Pain.
Agony, even.
Suffering, perhaps.
Guardian French.
In 2021, this company began requiring the use of a PAT or an SSH key instead of a password to authenticate certain user requests. For 10 points each, name this company, a competitor of Bitbucket, that provides the largest online version control platform.
Yeah, it is GitHub.
Defer.
GitHub.
Regretfully, I guess I have to accept that. I would have taken this instead. But organizations can control access to their GitHub repositories by requiring SSO with a SAML or security assertion, this type of language identity. GitHub README files are in this type of language exemplified by XML and YAML.
Like plain text?
Go with it.
No.
No.
Answer?
It's just Vim.
It's markup. The SAML format borrows XML specifications for signing and this property. The RSA algorithm gives data this property, which exists end-to-end for many messaging apps.
Encryption?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. I guess they're owned by Microsoft, so really that should be the real correct answer.
Oh.
I'm
Like
allowed
they're
to
owned
prompt
by
on that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
I use it though. So it's...
Last also. This instrument plays a languid melody representing a lazy layabout in the preludio of Heitor Villa-Lobos's second Bacchiana Brasileira. Sigurd Rascher's virtuosity on this instrument inspired Jacques Ibert's Concertino da Camera. A solo for this instrument begins Waltz No. 2 from Shostakovich's First Suite for Variety Orchestra.
Viola.
That is not right. That was Ethan. After a G-sharp minor bassoon solo in 6/8 time, this instrument plays the melody in Maurice Ravel's orchestration of the Old Castle from Pictures at an Exhibition. Created by a Belgian inventor in the mid-1800s, this instrument comes in a tenor version and a B-flat and a more common E-flat alto version. For 10 points, name this woodwind instrument made of brass.
Saxophone.
Yes.
You're gonna kill him.
This figure proclaims, "No one is truly free except for Zeus," while ridiculing a fellow god's reluctance to bind Prometheus in an Aeschylean tragedy's opening scene. For 10 points each, name this personification of strength in a child of the Styx who enforces Zeus's will alongside his siblings Bia, Zilus, and Nike.
Greek personification of strength. Would it be Kratos?
No.
Siblings of
Answer?
Kratos.
That's right. In Prometheus Bound, Kratos reinforces the idea that the Titan is being punished for stealing this special gift and giving it to man.
Fire emoji.
Right.
Kratos' hair survives a battered vase fragment depicting the construction of the fiery wheel meant to torment this king who had sex with a cloud shaped like Hera and followed the progenitor of the centaurs.
Ixion.
Defer.
Ixion.
30 points.
Nice.
Good 30.
500.
Score.
This feels
150, 490.
I have the same.
good game.
Thank you for reading.
Yo, 4-1.